Wellington, and this year, 2017, here with Mrs. Tekoya Pyfrom. She is one of our recipients for the 2017 Print Tingz and J-Line Fitness Breast Cancer Campaign. Each year for the past few years, we've been running this campaign to assist people who are in the battle, who have fought, because we do understand that there is a big price tag that comes with fighting breast cancer. It's very important. There are many organizations out there, but not everybody is able to make the list. And we're so happy that Mrs. Pyfrom has decided to share her story, because a lot of people just fade into obscurity. And so we want other people out there to know that there is life after and during the fight for breast cancer. So thank you so much, Mrs. Pyfrom. And the first thing we want to know is, when were you diagnosed?
Well, I was first diagnosed in the latter part of 2014. Months prior to that, I just felt a lump and decided to do, I guess, a full checkup, did a mammogram and everything, and they did tests. They said, okay, I have to go to a surgeon, did biopsies the latter part of 2014, and it came back. It didn't come up cancerous at first. They did the lumpectomy in 2015, the early part of 2015, and the results came back cancerous. So at that point in time, when I was diagnosed, it was like, what was going on? Because I was on the assumption, okay, how could it be that, okay, you get a result that it was good, and then a couple months down the line, when you get a biopsy and a lumpectomy, it's different. But at first, I just fell apart. But knowing that in my family history, there is a history of breast cancer. My mom had breast cancer. She recently passed in 2016. Not due to relieve the breast cancer itself, because she was actually cancer-free for 4 years. And it came back, and because she had, I guess, it had actually spread to her lungs and her liver. So it really got to the point where there was nothing else that can be done. So at that point in time when I was diagnosed, at least I had her to really fall on and know exactly what she went through, to know exactly what to expect to go through. So when I did the lumpectomy in February, I started chemo in, I think that was in the latter part of March. And I did chemo up until, I think that was October. Did a surgery to remove the lymph nodes that were actually came back cancerous, and did all the radiation and everything. Did my follow-ups, did PET scans. They came out 100%. So I was under the assumption that, okay, I was cancer-free. Then this year, that was, I think, probably like around February, I was feeling really bad, but I thought it was basically like a cold or just not feeling well. And then at one point in time, I just felt like the same area where I had the breast, which was in the cancer that was in my right breast. I felt a lump again in the same spot. And once I noticed it, I acted upon it. I told my husband, I said, well, something ain't right. So right there and then, we booked an appointment with my oncologist. We did a biopsy, and sure enough, when the biopsy came back, it came back cancerous. Had to do a PET scan just to make sure that the size was, I guess, to determine exactly what the size of the cancer was, so I can get the right treatments. good thing about that was because of me acting upon it quickly as I did, it wasn't a huge tumor. So what we actually did, instead of doing another surgery to remove that lump, we said that we have to do the chemo to try and shrink the lump as small as possible in order to do surgery. And two, again, because the lump where it was close to my chest wall. So the other thing, once I finished the chemo, the only other thing would have been a mastectomy. At first, they said a single mastectomy, but my husband and I questioned as to what is the chance of it recurring in the other breast.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a high chance, but because of my age,
Mm-hmm.
and because of how fast it came back, we opted to do the double mastectomy. That I did in November of this year. So I'm basically still recovering from that, and I just recently started radiation. So that's where I'm at with it now.
That's so amazing because this timeline, I'm hearing you got diagnosed, and during all of this, you lost your mom.
Yeah.
You dealt with it and you thought, okay, I'm cancer free, and then bam, it's back again. Really, this has been a journey for you. It's been like an ongoing fight, and just looking at you, one wouldn't even think that you have gone through all of that in such a short span of time. And they always say, thank God you don't look like what you've been through, but we're about almost halfway through December, and you've just finished the procedure in November, which is just a few short weeks ago, and you're still in recovery mode. This is just awesome. And you're back to work.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Like, things like this you have to remember when we have a little cold and we think we're dying. Because when you put it in perspective, because you're sitting there and like I said during our little chat prior, this is so important to share with others, because I know growing up when you heard of people having cancer, people didn't even call it cancer, it was just the C word. It was like forbidden to say it because it was like a death sentence. And you had people who literally decided that if they got it, their will to live was gone. And it's important for people who have fought and survived to share their story, to know that, you can fight it. You live, not just survive, but thrive. And then you speak of your husband, that support that you have. It's so amazing, because there are many people who don't have that, support system. So I am just in awe. Like, November is pretty much yesterday, and you're still in recovery. You mentioned the treatments, but I know that there is a part of your life, well, any illness, any major illness will affect the quality of life that you have, because there are some things you will have to, ease off on, and things that you would change. But has there been a major change in your quality of life?
Well, at first when I was diagnosed, I said, okay, I was at the point where I said, what's the use of me living?
Mm-hmm.
Because here it is that my mom had cancer. I didn't know exactly what to expect. Because when someone has cancer, everybody's body is different. So even with the treatments, I got the most aggressive treatments, because they wanted to pinpoint exactly and really focus on the cancer and trying to get rid of it. Those sessions, they were not good. Now, I would say that with the support of my husband and my kids and friends at work and other people, if I didn't have them, I would just give up. So sometimes it's hard, and then sometimes you take it and just try to bite the bullet and try to move on, look forward. And that's what I try to do. Like people say, well, okay, you're getting a double mastectomy, don't be depressed. I can tell you one thing, I had one breakdown since I did my mastectomy. And I just look at life as, okay, they're just a part of the body. Once you're breathing, it's okay. Once my kids are all right, I'm fine. Once my husband's okay, I'm fine. That's how I look at life. I look at life to live for them, and not for them to look at me and say, okay, we'll make you a up. Because it used to hurt when they used to come to me and say, Mommy, oh, well, can we go out? It used to hurt because I was too weak to go out and go places with them. But they were at the point where they understood. Even up to when my hair started to fall, they would just clown and say, oh, Mommy, you coming here. So it was just, we just made it like a joke, so at least I would actually feel better. And they would know exactly what is going on with me. But like with my husband's nickname for me is Samurai Warrior. So he says, well, I did it once, I pulled through it. I did it a second time, and I'm pulling through it. And although people may say, okay, you really don't look like you are dealing with something, but deep inside you are. And like nobody else will know exactly what you're dealing with until they're actually faced with it. And I think that I was able to deal with it better because I knew of someone close to me that was diagnosed. And while she was going through her struggles, I was there for her. Up until she passed, I was doing my radiation. She was helping me through it as to what to expect. Although she didn't do radiation, she knew exactly what was I to expect from the chemotherapy that I was doing. And every day I tend to miss her or whatever, but I know she's there. But like I said, my husband actually replaced my mom because he has always been there. If without him, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know where I would be. Because it's really hard. I mean, it's really hard. When you sit down and really think about it, I get teary-eyed, but I tend to go through it.
That's really great. What message would you have for somebody that is fighting? Because I have a friend who was diagnosed and she waited until it got so bad. Like we recently had a function for her. She literally hid it because she was ashamed. Like there are people who would hide it from their families and whatnot because they don't want people to know until it gets so bad where it's obvious and you have no choice but to say, well, here is the case. What would you say? Because with your story, you were dealing with your issue and watching your mom, and then you lost her, and then you having a rebound effect. You had so much going on.
Well, in that instance, if someone was to be like that, I would say once you get your exams and you know the examination, you know that, okay, there's a lump. There is a possibility that you may have breast cancer as well as there is a possibility that you don't. But I won't procrastinate in actually getting it checked out further just to be sure. Because the quicker you catch it, the better your options are. When I was first diagnosed, I caught my own at a stage 2 because of the size of my tumor, which was good. Now I've known people who have waited until it actually got to stage 4 but then at the point, there's nothing else to do. And normally, if you don't catch it early, you cannot say whether or not it has actually spread to any of your other organs. So I would say, well, if you're scared, you need to have that support, and you need to have that trust in people to say, well, I can talk to this person. If I don't want to say, okay, well, I don't want to talk to my husband, I can talk to a friend, and a friend and I can go and do it. Get it started. It is rough. It is very rough. Now, financially, people may look at it financially because it's very expensive. It's very expensive. Now, the majority of people, I think, they look at the fact of that as well.
Mhm.
They tend to fret more than trying to get it resolved. They don't want to, they don't want to say, okay, I feel a lump, I may have breast cancer. That's the first thing that they think of, because it doesn't necessarily have to be hereditary for you to have breast cancer. It's very prevalent in Bahamian women these days. I was 37 when I was diagnosed. I have known people younger than me recently that have been diagnosed with breast cancer. And they don't have a history of breast cancer in their families. So I would say, if you go to an examination and if you feel a lump, do your normal examinations. If you're not too sure exactly how you can do your examinations on your breast, they have different videos on YouTube and different things, videos where you can actually do examinations and what to look out for pertaining to lumps in your breast. Now, I would say once you feel a lump, go and get it tested right away. Because you may say, okay, it may feel small. When you go there, it's too far gone. And then it all depends on how big the tumor is. The doctor will be able to say, okay, there's nothing that I can do. There's nothing that we can do. We can give you chemo, as much chemo as possible to shrink it. And I thank God that my own was to the point where it wasn't as big, but I still needed chemo. Chemo was aggressive, it worked, and like I said, people just don't look at the fact that, okay, I don't have the funds to do it. When you have government, you can go through government and do it. People don't want to do that. If you don't have insurance, people just, I guess they're scared too. Because when I was diagnosed, I can remember when he got the results back. He called me in. This is Dr. Parkinson. My husband was working in South West, and he called me and said, I have your results. I went up, I talked by myself. He sat me down at that office, and he said, well, the results don't look too good. And I said, do you want to wait until my husband gets here? He said, I said, yeah, we could wait. I said, but I still want to know. He said, it came back cancerous. I didn't know what to do with myself. I cried from the minute I got the news, probably for a couple of days. So it's a bit hard. It was a bit hard at first, but I got over it. But if everybody has the support I have now, I would say go through it, deal with it, look at life in a positive way. Don't look at life in a negative way. Always think that there's always a tomorrow. Don't always think that there is an end. Live life like there's no tomorrow. And you have to live for yourself first before you can live for others.
Thank you so much. I want to bring Jen in because this whole facility, this whole building was a faith move, and you spoke about people who, well, when they get the news, and I think that's one of the first things that they think about. I can't afford it, how am I going to do it? People start thinking about all the logistics. And I remember when, J-Line Fitness started, and Jen was telling us the story. We're looking at the old pictures of what this property was like. And she always says, the J in J-Line is for Jesus line, and this was all just faith, something that just, like an anomaly, like only God can have done this. And in all the stories that we hear, that's, a recurring theme. So, Jen is a trainer, she, you can see that, the wellness of the body, not just the fitness part, but also the nutrition. And if you walk around this property, this is a gym, but it's not the cliche gym. There's a whole different feeling here, and it's about people not just working out to get fit, because sometimes your body can be fit, your mind may not. And a lot of our battles are mainly in the mind first. So, Jen, we've done this for a couple of years where we sit here in amazement and we think we have problems, and
I know. I think this is the closest we've come yet to actually living the situation live, because I just heard you last month, and so you're actually living through this at this moment. And I don't know, sitting here and listening to you and hearing your attitude of positivity, it's overwhelming, because no matter how strong we think we are, you don't know your strength until you actually have to go through the battle. You could sit back and say what you think you would be like, or what type of person you think you would be, but you don't know until you have to prove it. So you're absolutely amazing to me, because and I think my husband lost his mother to cancer. He knows what that feels like. I fortunately don't know what that feels like, but I can't imagine bearing the burden of the loss of your mother and then having the same diagnosis. So I'm in awe right now, and I want to thank you for your example, of what a person can be, and what a person can do, and what a person can withstand, and how beautiful a person can be with inner strength and with support from family and friends. And so I'm sitting here thinking how important it is to remember your friends and your family and your children. And so I thank you. I congratulate you on your outlook on life and your positive attitude, and I thank you for bringing that positivity to everyone around you. Like Colleen was saying, I never would have opened a facility like this on my own. This was completely a vision from God, and my husband has given his life completely to follow me into this vision. So I get all my strength from him, and he has lost both his parents, and I see the same strength in him. And as we build J-Line, we actually never wanted J-Line to be about the physical body as much as the whole person. So it had always been, God would never ask you to open a facility to make bodies shapely, or, just to make a stomach flat or to make arms bigger. That's not God's purpose, okay? His purpose is to make us complete people. And so I hope that as the years pass, J-Line becomes known more for wanting to be somewhere that feels like a family-oriented, close-knit, supportive, wanting to cherish the important things in life and become well. That's what I want J-Line Fitness to be known for wanting to people to become well, and spirituality is such an important element to me personally. So I'm so happy that J-Line was able to be a part of this, along with Printings. They include us every year, and it's exactly in line with the vision for J-Line. And I wish you and everyone who gets diagnosed or anyone who's touched by cancer, which is pretty much every family nowadays, I thank God for the support that you have. I thank God for your inner strength, and I thank God for your witness and your positivity. So on behalf of J-Line, I thank you for sharing with us, sharing your story, and like I said, I always hope that J-Line becomes known for making people stronger from within and able to face battles like this, and see the need for overall wellness. But thank you so much.
And we want to hear from John also, because for the most part, for the t-shirts, he is the go-to. When people are looking for the shirts and whatnot, it is, John making sure everybody's taken care of. He gets the orders, makes sure, and he really is, his wife's strength, but when it comes to the campaign, he's such an important part as well, because, without him, we wouldn't be able to, get the shirts out there the way that we want to. So he has been quite a big part of this. So he gets the day-to-day, and he gets to see the people who are coming to support. So, John, what?
This is, we've done several of these, and this is really, you're living that moment, and I think it's taken us all not by surprise, but it's taken us where we've had to kind of catch ourselves. You never know what somebody's going through, and when I walked out to the front desk, you were right there with your husband, and strong as could be, and so you wear it well. Nobody would ever know, and that's something to be commended for, because a lot of people would like to show the pain to be able to get sympathy from others. And it shows the type of person you are, where you're walking tall and proud, even though you just had surgery a couple of weeks ago. Major surgery. You've lost your mother and you're going through your second bout. And you can carry yourself with that dignity and pride for your children, for your husband, because they give you that strength. I lost my mom to cancer, but I also had two cousins who got diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 34. One is 59 now, as strong as can be, and the other one is 46. Same thing. She just goes to her checkups and all her stuff, and they stay on top of everything. And I mean, I see that in you, just very strong individuals. They go do their day-to-day. Their lives have changed a little bit, but they don't let what they were diagnosed with run their life. They've taken their life back. And that is why my passion with this program and shirts and those who come to buy it and who support it, I take it to heart. And I try to, help Darren and Carlene with this program, because I think it's needed, and stories like yours have to get out there for those to know there's other people in the world, in the Bahamas, that are going through these situations, and they also need to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel to give them hope. So once again, I want to thank you for sharing your story. And if the world needed to hear it.
Indeed. And now we're at the moment where this is what we're here for. This is the reason why each year we rack our brains to come up with designs. You know, everybody does Pinktober, and our whole reason is to bless somebody, because we know that the cost that's associated, not with just fighting cancer, but afterwards, because even afterwards the price tag is so big, you know, and that is daunting, and it weighs on people's minds, and we're asking as much as we can help to alleviate. That is what we want to do. And so from the 2017 Tingz Cancer Campaign on behalf of J-Line Fitness and Tingz, we want to just give you a small token, because if we could, we would, we would just write off the bill, but we're not there. But any small would help, and so we just want to say, you know, thank you, and we're so happy that you shared, because we need to hear the victory stories. We've had enough of the diagnosis and the scare, but we need people who are fighting, who've survived, who are thriving, to say, hey, you can do this. It's just one day at a time. So we want to say thank you, because you haven't just fought, you're still fighting. I mean, just a few weeks ago, that's amazing. You're in recovery and you're here, and hopefully that somebody sees this touches them, and they know, hey, I'm not just going to lay down and let this take me like that. So thank you so much. We're grateful for you sharing, Mrs. Pyfrom. And we wish you all the best, and strength to you, not just to you, but to your husband, your children, your family, who are, you know, they're continuing to support you. Because all the medication in the world, but without that support, you know, it makes it, it's as though nothing is happening. So we thank you so, so much for fighting, for surviving, for staying in the fight. So thank you.